Did you know that snowflakes smiled? Hi, it's Riikka Kovasin here with another video, and this time I'm making a canvas with a smiling snowflake. I got the idea from Mona Lisa actually. I'm making this canvas on top of a wooden block or wooden board, and I'm first coating it with white gesso, kind of just making it seal the wooden surface, but also turning it white. I'm not painting the middle part that well because I know that the focal elements are going to be placed there, so no need to add paint underneath. The next thing I'm doing, I'm adding some white crackle paint on top, and then I'm leaving it air dry. So it's still wet when I start to make the composition on top, using first some chipboard pieces and paper straws. So whenever I put something down, it will stay there because of the wet medium underneath. For the light elements, like the chipboard's shapes, I don't use an extra adhesive, but for the heavier items, and especially even though the paper straws are quite delicate, but they are the base of everything else, so for those I'm using a gel medium to adhere. I'm starting with the bigger, flatter elements and then going for the height. Here you can see the canvas a little bit further along the way. I've added some more embellishments here and there, and now it's kind of the finishing touches to the composition, like these little trinkets here and there, just to make something interesting for the eye to kind of wander around the canvas and find new elements everywhere. For these I'm also using a heavy body gel medium to adhere. When I have everything put, I then leave the canvas to dry for several hours before moving onwards. Now that the canvas is dried, I then cover everything with white gesso. I say everything, but in fact, I paint only the face part really heavily with white gesso, as well as those chipboard shapes that are kind of the wrong color. Everything else is more or less the color I'm then wanting them to be. For example, I used pale blue roses that will go to the color scheme, but those items that are not fitting to what I have in mind, the snowy look, those I cover with white gesso. Then it's time to add the colors. I've chosen a couple of blues for this one, and then a lavender toned, so a really pale purple one, and I'm mixing them on top of the project. The darker colors I'm kind of introducing to the shadowy areas, kind of highlighting that dimension, and the lighter colors a little bit further along the composition. I'm just haphazardly adding the paints here and there, and then add some splashes too. After letting the paint dry, I then add some shine and sparkle to the project. First, I'm adding this glittery paste here and there. It will look just like glitter when it dries. Now when it's wet, it looks like this dull white stuff, but it will be really nice after drying. And then I'm also adding some crystals in bigger and smaller forms, just to kind of go around the composition and heighten the lines that already are there. For the bigger crystals, I'm using gel medium as the adhesive, but for the light, small ones, I'm using just regular craft glue. And then here you can see the finished piece. I think the shape in the middle has kind of this enigma of a smile, which reminded me of Mona Lisa. So it's a little smiling snowflake. I hope you liked the project. If you did, please consider subscribing. And great new year and January to you. Thank you. Bye.